This is the story of Akira, a young man obsessed with zombies. This day, while watching a zombie movie, he even starts wishing he could live in that world, because, somehow, it still looks better than his 9 to midnight schedule. 3 years earlier, however, his life looked very different. Back then, Akira had just secured a position in the production department, filled with hope and big dreams. On his first day at work, he met Sayori from the accounting department and immediately developed a strong crush, believing he had found the love of his life. However, reality hit him like a truck. Instead of success in life and love, Akira found himself stuck in a 9 to midnight work schedule, dealing with endless overtime at a company that treated employees like replaceable office furniture. To make matters worse, his boss, Kasugi, in addition to being fat and ugly, was harsh and unbearable. Day by day, Akira's bright smile faded, his spirit slowly drained, and he turned into a walking zombie before any real zombies even appeared. Every morning felt like the same nightmare. A year later, Kasugi assigned Akira a task that had to be completed within a week. Already exhausted, Akira worked non-stop, even skipping his lunch break. Noticing this, Sayori kindly brought him some food. Touched, Akira joked that she was the only one keeping him sane. But later, he discovered she was actually the CEO's mistress, which completely changed how he saw her. With Sayori no longer a source of motivation, Akira began to question why he was still working at the production company. He thought about finding another job, but felt he didn't have the time and didn't want to burden his team. And as he entered his 3rd year, the stress kept building until it pushed him to the edge, and he began to contemplate suicide. Searching for some comfort, he turned to TV shows that discussed workplace etiquette and emphasized the importance of worker safety and well-being. But unfortunately, he is not getting any. The next morning, he wakes up exhausted, as usual. He steps outside and notices a reminder letter on his door about an unpaid fee for his bike parking space. Deciding to sort it out, he goes to speak with the building manager. However, there is no response, and the manager's door is left slightly open. Curious, Akira steps inside, only to find that the manager has turned into a zombie. Before he can process what's happening, chaos erupts. Akira suddenly finds himself being chased by a growing horde of zombies, struggling to understand how everything changed so quickly. But somewhere in the middle of the panic, a realization hits him, and to his own surprise, he feels relieved. If the world is turned into a zombie apocalypse, then it also means one thing: he never has to go to work again. With that thought, Akira manages to find a safe spot and begins thinking about how to make the most of his unexpected freedom. Even so, one concern lingers in his mind: Sayori. He worries about her safety, yet admits to himself that he would rather be eaten by zombies than continue hiding his feelings. Driven by that thought, he makes his way to her apartment. There, he is confronted with another shock. His boss has also turned into a zombie. Without hesitation, Akira finally says what he's been holding back, declaring that he quits. Using his old rugby skills, he tackles his boss straight out of a window, putting an end to him. Inside, he finds Sayori, but she, too, has already turned into a zombie. Even so, Akira doesn't hold back anymore. Standing before her, he confesses his love without fear. Later that night, Akira heads out to a nearby store, thinking about what he truly wants to do with his life, now that everything has changed. And as he walks through the stores, he gets that idea. He picks up a Sharpie and a notebook, and right there, he starts writing, turning it into a bucket list of 100 things he wants to do before he dies. The next day, Akira wakes up from a nightmare, jolted, but then realizes he doesn't have to go to work anymore, thanks to the zombie apocalypse. Relieved, he spends his time drinking beer and tidying up his home, finally enjoying a sense of freedom. While relaxing, he watches a news report covering the chaos outside. The reporter describes the situation, but before she can finish, she is suddenly attacked and killed by zombies. Akira watches the scene in silence, briefly reflecting on how serious things have become. But the moment passes quickly, and his mind drifts to something simpler. He wants more beer. Unfortunately, he's already run out. Reluctantly, Akira leaves his home to restock, and as he moves through the area, a couple on a nearby balcony, who haven't turned into zombies, notice him hanging around one of their poles. When they call out to him, Akira explains his situation and his plan to get supplies. He promises to bring some back for them after his trip to the store. At the store, Akira notices a girl calmly drinking water. While picking up beer, he tries to strike up a conversation and even asks for her number. However, she refuses and scolds him for risking his life just for beer. She makes it clear that she wouldn't team up with someone who doesn't have their priorities straight. Akira brushes off her words, but suddenly, a group of zombies begins entering the store. Before he can react, the girl grabs him and pulls him to safety, just as a truck crashes into the building, wiping out the zombies. Shocked, Akira thanks her, but quickly realizes that his bike has been destroyed in the crash. Left without a ride, he finds a motorcycle and uses it to return to the couple's home. However, when he arrives, he finds their place covered in blood and badly damaged. From the state of the house, he understands that they are either dead or have turned into zombies. Disheartened, Akira returns home and starts reflecting on his life. He takes out his bucket list and begins crossing off items. It turns out he has already completed 33 of them. In a flashback, the girl from the store was working out while listening to emergency broadcasts on her radio. The reports said the situation had been getting worse every day, and there had been no official word from the government. Some feared that the zombies had already overtaken the entire country, leaving no organized authority to respond. If that was true, then everyone was on their own. She had tried to contact the LA station but received no response. Accepting the reality of the situation, she had begun writing down a list of activities to keep herself from becoming like the zombies. From her apartment, Shizuka had carefully observed the zombies and concluded that there were generally two types, those that moved quickly and those that moved slowly. Being able to tell the difference, she realized, was critical for survival. With this understanding, she had left home that day to gather essential supplies so she could survive without worrying about basic needs. She had used a bicycle to reach the store and had installed a camera on it to monitor her surroundings while collecting supplies. Through that same camera, she had noticed Akira entering the store, which was how she knew he wasn't a threat. It also allowed her to spot the approaching truck in time and step in to save him. Now, back in the present, she sits at home reviewing the footage. She spots Akira just before he enters the building and watches him move through the store, careless and free. And as she observes him, a small thought crosses her mind. Maybe she should have bought the Sakura Mochi after all. Inside the lively yet chaotic Club Showtime, Sho and his staff struggle to defend the place from a horde of zombies closing in. Among the people taking shelter inside, a young girl cries, grieving the loved ones she has lost in the apocalypse. When Sho notices her, he gently reassures her that everything will be okay and promises to protect her. Just then, he is informed that the zombies are returning. Without hesitation, Sho and his men head outside to fight, while the refugees remain hidden inside the club. Elsewhere, Akira finally regains internet access, and as messages begin flooding in, he remembers his college friend, Kensho. He immediately calls him and learns that he is somewhere in Shinjuku. The city is overrun with zombies, and Kensho warns him not to come, but Akira has already made up his mind. Determined to rescue his best friend, he asks for his address and hangs up. As he drives toward Shinjuku, Akira recalls the last time they met. After graduation, Kensho had landed a successful real estate job and was living a luxurious life. He often bragged about dating models, which irritated Akira, who was stuck in a toxic job. Although Kensho repeatedly told him to quit, Akira never had the courage to do so. Meanwhile, outside Club Showtime, the zombies have overwhelmed nearly everyone. Sho begins to accept that he may not survive, but suddenly, for reasons unknown, the zombies retreat, leaving him alive. After arriving in Shinjuku, Akira tracks down Kensho using the address he received. At the same time, Kensho notices something strange. The zombies have disappeared, and the hallways around him are eerily empty. Moments later, Akira finds him. Overcome with emotion, Akira breaks down in tears. He admits that he regrets staying in his toxic job, especially when Kensho had advised him to quit long ago. He finally understands that his friend was right all along. Kensho, caught off guard, struggles to respond. He gathers himself, wanting to say something in return, but before he can, the zombies suddenly return. With no time to waste, the two friends run for their lives, heading straight to the rooftop as the undead chase them. Once there, they slam the door shut and block it with whatever they can find. Still, Kensho knows it won't hold for long. As he begins to feel that this might be the end, Akira looks across and notices another building nearby. He suggests that the gap might be small enough to jump across. Kensho is shocked and calls the idea suicidal, trying to stop him, but Akira is already moving. Without hesitation, Akira takes the leap. He barely makes it, landing hard and injuring himself, but quickly reassures Kensho that he's fine. Even after seeing this, Kensho hesitates. He doesn't believe he has what it takes to make the jump. Apologizing, he admits that the life he used to brag about was never truly fulfilling. Despite his success, the parties, and the relationships, he was never happy. He confesses that he had been convincing people into bad investments and felt guilty about it all along. In truth, He never cared about real estate. What he really wanted was to become a stand-up comedian. Akira listens quietly and then encourages him to follow his dream and take the leap, both literally and in life. Gathering his courage, Kensho finally jumps, and this time, he makes it. Safe at last, the two friends sit together and share a drink, relieved to have survived and finally being honest with each other. Akira remains absorbed in a zombie video game, while Kensho prepares a meal for both of them on the rooftop and jokingly teases him about his dating life before wishing him good luck. Curious, Kensho takes a look at Akira's bucket list. Although Akira suggests that he should make one of his own, Kensho instead adds a few items to Akira's list and reminds him that he plans to stay by his side after saving his life. Akira then suggests going to Ikebukuro to buy an 8K widescreen television and cross another item off the list. Along the way, Kensho reveals that his dream is to become a stand-up comedian, and his words make Akira think about his own dreams. Before he can dwell on it for long, a truck comes speeding toward them with a zombie behind the wheel, and Akira quickly steers around one obstacle after another until they finally reach the underground section of a shopping mall. There, they meet several survivors who see nothing hopeful in the world around them. Remembering that one of his bucket list goals is to meet a flight attendant, Akira introduces himself to 3 women named Reika, Maki, and Yukari. The women reveal that they are flight attendants, and the news delights both him and Kensho. Wanting to brighten the gloomy atmosphere, Akira notices Kensho getting along with one of the women and performs a ridiculous tequila stunt to entertain the others. The stunt works, and all 3 women burst into laughter, though Akira soon retreats to the restroom to recover from the effects of the alcohol. Yukari follows him to check on him, while Kensho and Maki spend some private time together. Elsewhere, Reika admits that she is unhappy with her life, and before long, the man accompanying them turns into a zombie and attacks her. The commotion reaches Kensho and Maki, while Yukari sits with Akira and speaks about her worries regarding her career, even revealing that she has a boyfriend. A short while later, Kensho and Maki come face to face with the zombified Reika, and the encounter turns tragic when Maki loses her life, forcing Kensho to fend off Reika with her own suitcase. At the same time, Akira and Yukari continue speaking about their jobs, and little by little Akira realizes that his dream of working in the production industry was never truly his own. Their talk goes no further, because the zombified man suddenly appears before them and lunges at Yukari. Akira manages to drive him back, but he quickly notices that Yukari has already been bitten. Despite his attempts to help her, Yukari asks him to leave her behind, and admits that, for all her complaints and doubts, she genuinely loves her work. With no way to save her, Akira reluctantly leaves and reunites with Kensho, who has somehow managed to obtain the 8K widescreen television they came to buy. After returning to their hideout, Akira quietly thinks about the words of both Kensho and Yukari and writes a new goal on his bucket list: to remember his childhood dream. Then, with the world still overrun by zombies, he picks up his controller and goes back to playing his zombie video game. The next day, Kensho keeps checking the latest news about the zombie outbreak, while Akira remains busy with the same zombie video game he has been playing for days. The reports mention that the Self-Defense Force has isolated parts of Hokkaido and that some villages have sealed their tunnels, which comforts Akira because his family is in Gunma. Somewhere along the way, Kensho even dyes his hair yellow, and as they chat, Akira admits that his childhood dream is to become a superhero who fights zombies, and he promptly adds it to his bucket list. With that little dream burning in his heart, he and Kensho set off for an aquarium. Inside the aquarium, they wander into the back rooms, where Akira discovers a shark suit in a locker. A little spray paint later, and his superhero costume is ready. Just then, the young woman they met earlier comes rushing into the aquarium with a group of survivors and several zombies close behind. Seeing his chance to look heroic, Akira charges at the zombies, only to learn that getting bitten hurts a lot more than he imagined. Kensho can do nothing because there is only one shark suit, but Akira still manages to throw the zombies into a nearby pool. Poor fellow then looks at the girl, expecting praise, only to find her completely unimpressed. After everyone settles down, Akira introduces himself to the girl. She studies him for a moment and asks why he goes so far to help help other people. She admits that his actions are admirable, but warns that his recklessness could put others in danger, and her words leave him quietly thinking. Before he can say much more, a loud banging noise echoes through the aquarium. Following the sound, they discover a shark with 2 humans trapped inside it. The creature chases them through the aquarium and straight into a crowd of zombies, until the girl notices an emergency exit and guides everyone toward it. In all the confusion, Akira's crush is left behind, and without a second thought, he turns back to save her. The girl cannot understand why he always commits himself so completely to everything he does, while Kensho can only watch and worry. The girl quickly comes up with a plan to defeat the shark, and the two split up to carry it out. Akira faces the creature alone and soon finds himself overwhelmed. But Kensho distracts the shark just long enough for the girl to toss several batteries to him. Using them, Akira electrocutes the shark and finally brings it down. At that moment, he happily crosses another dream off his bucket list, because at least for one day, he truly becomes a superhero who fights zombies. Later, Kensho asks the girl why she never joins the other survivors. She explains that she no longer likes being part of large groups and remarks on how different her goals are from Akira's after noticing his bucket list. Before leaving, she reveals that she wants to find a safe and sustainable place to live, gives Akira her contact information, and introduces herself as Shizuka Mikazuki. With that, the two friends decide that their next stop will be Gunma, where they hope to find Akira's family safe and sound.
And that is it for today. If you enjoyed this recap, please subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and feel free to write whatever you want in the comments section. Thank you for watching.